The next user interface element we're going to explore is the asset panel in 3DCoat. They are accessed through the activity bar if you want to try and keep your user interface as streamlined and as clean as possible. But if you want to have them docked in your interface, you can have them placed wherever you like. And you can also leave them free floating in the viewport so that you can access them with a hotkey. You can scale them the size that you want them to pop up as. So for example, with the brushes palette, you can scale it in the viewport once you tear it off. Now, when I access it from the Windows panel menu, I can leave it pinned in the viewport, or you can click this X icon in the upper right to close it. And then you can hit the associated hotkey, and it remembers that scale. It also remembers the subfolder that I had chosen, and it comes up centered on my cursor. So if I want it to be presented over here, more to the right, then that's where I want to position my cursor before I hit the hotkey. And as soon as you move your cursor away from the panel, it will disappear. But if you want to leave it free floating, what you can do, again, is just go to the Windows menu under Panels and click the Brushes palette. So that tells 3DCoat you do want to keep it pinned in the viewport. Likewise, if you dock it inside the UI, let's stick that right there. Yeah, so it will stay put each time you come back to 3DCoat. You have the Brush Alpha palette, you have stencils, you have presets. This includes sculpting tools, paint tools, retopple tools, whatever tools you have available in 3DCoat, you can store them as a preset, and that includes all the parameters, the brush alphas you may choose. To add a preset, you go to the upper right corner of the panel, click here, and then you can choose to add a preset. You can save presets as a whole or load them later. Also, you can always double click to rename an asset. For smart materials and brush alphas and things of that sort, you can click the X icon wherever you see it to essentially close that. For example, the smart materials and stencils, they have essentially an overlay working with it, and that's why you would want to close it if you so choose. At the bottom of each panel, you can add an individual asset accordingly. So for example, the stencils here, I can add a stencil by clicking here. You can create a new subfolder, click here and name it accordingly. You can access the different subfolders that you see. Many that you might see here are ones that I have accumulated from third parties over the years. So not all of these will be available in the default 3DCoat. You can also get more assets from the 3DCoat scan library on their website. These are freely available to 3DCoat customers, so you can click here to add more of these stencils if you like, more smart materials and so on. Also, in each room, you have some assets that are exclusive to that particular room. For example, in the Sculpt workspace, you have Sculpt models. These are effectively just primitive or OBJ models that you can use to bring in the scene, and it will invoke the import tool. If you have the primitives tool active, when you select one of these objects, 3DCoat will bring it in as a free-form deformation primitive. So you can start deforming it right away. You have the splines object palette, and this performs a similar function. It brings it into the scene, but it replicates it along a curve. From the Sculpt Tree panel, you can drag and drop your Sculpt Tree layer into the spline object panel, or you can drag it into the Sculpt Models panel. The same applies in the Retopple workspace. You have poly models, which are basically low polygon, typically low polygon or quad-based meshes. Again, you have subfolders that you can work with. Let's go back to the paint room. Of course, you have color swatches and smart materials. When you click on the plus icon, it will create a new smart material from scratch. So let's click on that. You'll see the smart materials panel open up. So we have a blank slate here. You have different parameters. I don't want to go too far into depth. We have videos that cover the smart materials, but you can add image maps here. You can name it accordingly. You can choose the projection type from camera, which would be flat mapping. This is good for certain types of smart materials, for example, decals or just flat images that you want to project onto maybe a hard surface model, or again, like a skin texture would be a good example of that. And you can change the size of the thumbnail here. So let's take it back to cube mapping. I'll click cancel. Let's go ahead and close this material panel. You can refresh a preview, and it will use the lighting in your current environment to re-render that preview. For all materials, you can refresh them all in a subfolder. You can set an entire folder for camera mapping, that flat mapping that I just showed you, or you can change it here. You can also set factory defaults for all materials. Now, to add a subfolder, you would click the plus icon here, and you can also right-click on any of the subfolders. For example, if you see one that's empty, you can right mouse button click and choose to delete it. You can also rename the subfolders as well. You can move assets from one to the other. So for example, this metal rusty, perhaps I want to move items to metal or metals. You can search for a particular smart material if you want by clicking here. So for example, if I want to try to find skin related smart materials, I can click that and it will show me where they are located. So this search feature works with all the asset panels. Let's go to the brush alphas. You can access it here also from the activity bar. It allows you to access your asset panels in the entire right column. I can access the brushes panel from the sculpt workspace as well. And yeah, you can add brushes from a package. You can add a new folder, add an existing folder. So adding a new folder is just starting one from scratch. Add existing folder is pointing to a folder that has a collection of images. For example, a folder with Photoshop ABR brush files. You can point to that and 3DCoat will convert the entire folder. And of course, you have your shader panel. It works in a similar fashion, but if you want to modify them, you have options when you right click on them to edit current object shader settings, edit permanent shader settings, and so on. You can construct a new shader based on one that you have currently selected. You can rename it and so on. You can share them. You can delete them. Once more, you can move them if you need to again, reorganize your asset panels. You can also apply a particular shader to everything that's visible. You can apply it to the subtree and so on. So each of these asset panels have a lot of similarities between them, but they also have some unique features that you will want to explore. And before I conclude here, I just wanted to mention something that I may have stated before, is that you can keep your user interface clean and clutter-free by using the activity bar to access most of your asset panels. To demonstrate this, I'm going to go to the Windows menu and choose Restore Page to Default. And you can see how clean the user interface is, right? And then if you want, you can just use the activity bar. As you approach it, you will now see the asset panel. So you can choose a different brush alpha pack, a different HDRI set here. Brush option settings. This is applicable in some rooms. some tools, some have their brush settings built into the tool options panel. You have strips, you have stencils, again, shaders, sculpt models. You also happen to have spline object models, and then you have joints and presets. Now, depending on how many of the individual assets you have, let's say, for example, the 3DC brushes, that's a very large one. You can use all of this real estate here while your cursor is inside this right column. The same thing with shaders and so on, like you see here. And you still have these subfolders that you can choose from if you need. You can also use a minimalist layout mode with the asset panels using, again, your activity bar to access them. So let's do that. Let's hit the Tab key. And now I have a clean interface. It's almost completely naked. And if I want, I can come over to the tool panel and have just the tool panel showing, and everything else is hidden. You can also make your tool panel collapse again. But what I wanted to show is your activity bar is still here in the upper right-hand corner. So once more, you can work with a very clean interface and just access your asset panels here on the right-hand side or in the viewport here by invoking them with your hotkeys. So I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.